What is up, everyone on YouTube? It is InDriver KG here, and today we are going to talk about the first 5 things you should do with your Elantra N. Once you get it, I know you're going to be really excited to mod it. This is just my opinion on the top 5 mods and first 5 mods you should do to your Elantra. So let's get to it. First thing you should do is a lower motor mount. So 6 has one, you have one from Boomba, you have Turbo Tech, that's the one I have, and you're going to want that lower motor mount. It's located right under, see it back there, it's red? That's what you're going to want. So what that does is it stops your wheel hop. These cars are plagued with wheel hop, especially when you start adding some more power to it later on. When you start the launch, you're going to feel that wheel hop. It's going to judder. And wheel hop is that really strong judder that you get when you take off pretty hard or you have the launch control activated. It's gonna be like do 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 do, like it'll shake you. It feels really violent, and that's one thing you're going to want to take care of right away. So in order to remedy it, get a lower motor mount. They cost about 150 to 200 bucks. It is a very good mod. It doesn't add power, but it will slice some time off of your 0 to 60. So that's what I think your first mod should be. Next thing you're going to want to do is probably some 18-inch wheels. So you can't really go 17 on either. The 19s that come stock on the car are okay, but they are very thin. The tires are very, very thin, and a 245 or 255 35 19 is a very skinny tire. And for me, I live here in New Jersey, and the roads are not good. I'm not sure where you're from, but you're probably going to want to downsize on the wheels just a little bit, just so you can get a little bit more tire. So what I have here, I'm pushing it with a 275 35 18 in the front, and that's the tire. The wheels are a 18 by 9. The offset is plus 55 on these, but I have a little bit of a wheel spacer so I can clear the back, so I can run this 275. But this 35 series is almost the same as a 245 40 18, and that's what you're going to run for your everyday setup. You're going to want a 245 40 18. So that's what I personally think is the perfect tire size for these. Is very, very comfortable ride. These ride almost the same as those, but like I said, the difference from the 19 and this 18, you get a little bit of a lighter wheel depending on what you want to do. If you're going to the drag strip like me, you're going to want a little bit of a thicky boy there. So that's why I have that. And the 18s just soak up the bumps just a little bit better depending on what sidewall you have on your tire. So that's what I think the next mod is. Number 3, I think the best one to do is an intake. Depending on if you want to hear a little bit of the induction noises like this. You're going to want an intake. So because I have this, and it is an open filter, some might call it the hot air filter, hot air intake, whatever, doesn't really change the difference from the regular closed box, and it's not a change from the stock one. I did check before on my JB4 of the intake temps, and I actually went down 2 degrees with the open box. So you tell me, but it did make a difference. And it is paired with a forge inlet, and that's your choice. The inlet is more for power, but I feel like the intake does a great job of giving you those sounds that you want when you have a turbo vehicle. And for this car, for the low price of 400 bucks, or you can get a 6.1, that is another great option. They look great in the engine bay. Go with this. Cold air intake, can't go wrong. Next, number 4, a tune. I think a tune could be a great option to really wake this car up and really give you the feels that you should have felt from the factory. From the factory, the car feels fine. And it feels relatively good. I mean, after I drove it, I fell in love. But you're going to want a little bit more. So your ECU is here if you want to go with a spare ECU. Or if you want, you have options such as 6 element. You have N75. That's what I personally have. There are a few other places out there, but there are a few places that tune these cars or have tuners for them, and I think it does a great job of waking the car up. In most cases, a stage 1 is going to require you to have an intake and probably an inlet in the back. So you're going to be with the intake and inlet together, probably about $600 to $700, maybe $800. A tune can cost you anywhere from $300 to $800, maybe $1,000 if you go to lap 3, depending. And I truly think that with the stage run, for most people, stage 1 is going to be very adequate. It's going to give you roughly about 320, 330 horsepower if you're lucky, depending on what you do. And I just feel like the tune is a must-have for this car. It wakes it up a lot. Watch. If you get a tune like a JB4 or other piggyback tuners, you have plugs here that you have to plug it into. It's one under there, and then you have a boost T sensor down there that you would plug it up to. So you just plug in those two. I believe with the JB4 you have the fuel wire that would be right over there. There are other videos on it, but basically you run that, run the wire through your firewall, plug in your JB4, and you just get in and go. With the app, you can change it from map 0, map 1, map 2, map 3 if you got E30. I've personally had the JB4 and it has worked wonders with this car. It did really good. I think the 60 to 130 I got, my best was a 6.6 with the JB4. When you get an actual ECU tune, you basically open up the door for more power. You get more of a timing, more boost actually, depending on what you have. And like I said, stage 1 is about 310 to 330. Stage 2, I do believe in most cases you need a high pressure fuel pump. It's located right in here in a little styrofoam thing, but high pressure fuel pump, that just ensures you to run that extra boost safely. And basically you can run stage 2. With stage 3, you need to have an intercooler, which would be right back there, and you also going to need a downpipe. With stage 1, 2, or 3, you choose your poison and you have fun out there. That's what this car is about. It's about having fun, and I feel like the tune is a need. It is very essential to this car. So for most people, it's just an everyday car. The 270 horsepower it comes with is adequate. It's fine. But when you want the goods, you know what you need. Number 5, and a very, very good idea, is a Resonator delete. Resonator delete, I think, is an excellent choice for this car. It's very cheap mod. You could probably get one done for about 60 to $100, depending on where you're located. And it really makes a great difference with this car. I have a video that I did. I'll show you right here. That's a Resonator delete. Jesus. can see, it made a great difference. Now the camera doesn't do it much justice, but just know in real life, real time, the pops, they get a lot better. Like, and then the overall sound, you get deeper exhaust tones. So like I said, the camera doesn't do it the best justice, but when you go to a car meet, or you go anywhere, or you just want to hear your exhaust, that's the way to go. Honorable mention number 1, window tint. It is a must, I feel like. You don't want people looking into your fishbowl. So I personally have 20% in the front and in the back. And you really can't see in there. If you really go up to it, you can. But during the day, you can't really see in there. In the front, I have 35. And I mean, do you see the end on the seats? Do you see it? But I feel like that is one of the first things you should do, depending on if your town or your city, state gives you an issue. You can get 35%, but I'm legally blind, so. And the second honorable mentions will be a front lip. There are a few other lip choices out there. This personally, I got a universal elantra spoiler, front lip from Amazon. It fit every single elantra out there apparently, and I got this car back in December of 2021. So I didn't have many options, as I was one of the first in Jersey that actually got an elantra in, and there wasn't anything out there, so I got what I could. Now if you notice, I do have a little bit of a chip right there, and then it's rubbed out. That's just being in Jersey. Not even lowered, not lowered, but that's low enough. So all in all, hopefully you learned something from this video, but I know you're itching to get modded and you don't know where to start. Start with one of these. It doesn't have to go in order, but until next time, y'all be safe.